come and spend an hour making these gorgeous little envelope booklets. Yep, let's build up our stash ready for making our junk journals. Welcome to this week's mass making. Hi guys, this is Tina from Shabbydabbydoodah. Welcome back to my channel. So we're here for another of our mass making sessions. We are up to week number 243. What are we making this week? We are making envelope booklets. Now this is unfortunate timing because I did make something very similar recently, but these are different. So, you know, it's still going to be different. So what you're going to need if you want to make these. I've brought along a bunch of envelopes. Now these are what I would call the normal standard size, you know, letter type envelopes. I think they're kind of like 11 by 22 or something like that. They're just kind of standard size, what I would call standard size for letters coming through. You're going to need some papers to decorate. Now again, I say this all the time, I've got digitals, that's because that's what I mainly have these days. You don't have to have digitals, but that's what I'm using. You're going to need some glue, and I would recommend like a glue spreader or something just to kind of spread your glue out. I always use the Anita's tacky glue whenever possible for gluing paper items. You're going to need some scissors, and then you're going to need a bunch of plainish papers. So I've got here some vintage documents, I've got some fly sheet, various different papers. I've got some lined paper. You may want to have a selection of thicker and thinner, and you will see that once we get making these, why you might, you know, like to have kind of both styles. And then you're going to need or, you know, you may want to have like tissue or a wipe or something to get excess glue away, and you may like to have your distress ink and your blendy tool if you want to ink them up. Optional extras, if you want to have thumb holes in these, you could have you know, a circle punch to put thumb holes in. I probably won't, but definitely you could do if you fancied doing that. And aside from that, you're going to want either a stapler or take them to your sewing machine. Now I will probably staple because, and I say this every week, I like to try and keep these accessible for everybody, and not everybody obviously has a sewing machine. So that's all that you're going to need. So let's move these bits out the way and get making one of these. And as usual, we're going to kind of like make one or two as a tutorial, and then we're going to just get assembly line styling, making a whole bunch of these to be super quick and efficient, and just have a catch up and a really productive, nice, you know, enjoyable hour. Right, okay, so you're going to take your envelope. Now the envelopes that I made recently, we kept this as a pocket. These particular ones we're going to glue the flap down and get rid of the pocket altogether. So let's just quickly glue that down. Got a brand new glue here, so hopefully I'm not going to have glue issues today, although, hey, stranger things have happened. I'll give my glue a shake. Okay, so I'm going to glue my flap down. Now these are those self-adhesive envelopes, so they have got that sticky, you know, self-seal flap. However, I like to add a bit of glue. I never really kind of fully trust that to actually stay stuck down. So like that. Okay, and then you're going to just fold your envelope over. Now I'm going to fold mine over this way. Doesn't really matter whether you have it, you know, glued flap side in or out. You might find that it kind of like just has a bit of ruching if you fold it inwards, but you know, just play around and decide what suits you best. And then what we're going to do, we're going to decorate the front of the envelope. So I'll just take a bit of decorative paper. I'm going to just use here, this is my Capital collection papers. Honestly, I've been using these non-stop since putting them into my shop a couple of weeks ago. I really, really love them. And I'm sure that I did say this at the time, but they're called Capital collection papers because they contain lots of images from the Capitol monuments from around the US. So yeah, who knows, they may have your hometown on there. I don't know. Obviously, you know, yeah, obviously I didn't incorporate all of the states. I don't know whether all the states have definitely Capitol monuments, but I assume they probably do. Okay, but there's lots of them that have been included. Okay, so just going to pop that down on the front. Okie dokie. Like that. I like to just put plenty of glue on to make sure it's well and truly glued down and stuck really nicely. So spread that glue with the glue spreader. Okay, and then I just mop it out round the edge with my tissue just to catch any glue that came out, just so that, you know, doesn't look all messy. And then what you're going to do is turn it over, glue your other decorative piece down on the back. Now, if you were planning on having this glued into a journal, obviously you may want to just skip this part. I don't know whether I have really ever glued these in or whether I always have them in a, you know, as a sort of tuck in. I'm not sure. I don't know whether I've glued them in or not. It's hard to remember what we do, isn't it? Because we make so many things, but I would say I generally have them just kind of paper clipped in or something, or maybe in a pocket. Okay. They're also really nice for giving as a like happy mail or something like that. So, you know, they can be used as a sort of standalone project. Right, now got some pages here which I'm going to use as the inner pages, and then I've also got, this is some fly sheet. Do we think that blue goes with that? I'm not sure. I could use the other side where it's cream, but to be honest, I might save that because I might have some paper later on that would look good with the blue, because it's quite fun to be able to use coloured pieces. So I'm just going to take this sheet down now. Now this is the paper that I said slightly thicker, although actually I think I've got 2 sheets here, so probably not that thick by the time I make it, just 1 sheet thick. There we go. It doesn't really matter that it's, you know, a bit scrappy, to be honest, so just now I'm going to have to cut that down slightly more. That's unfortunate, isn't it? Okay, and then we'll just go in like that. Like I say, I don't mind that that's got a bit of scrappy bits on it. I think that might add to the interest of it. So I'm going to just take it in on the side. So we just take it in here like that. Okay, so what we do, open it up, and we're going to glue these down on the inside. Now, optional extras, again, actually, and I did forget to mention this, you may like to have a corner rounder. This is, you know, very much personal choice, or maybe you would want to have some with rounded corners and some without. So just kind of, you know, yeah, adapt them to how you fancy. Obviously, if you haven't got a corner rounder, you can just round your corners, you know, judging by eye with your scissors. You don't have to have all these fancy tools and things like that. I mean, mine's a bit blunt there. Just go around and help that. They don't have to be perfect, you know, nobody's judging this. Okay, so just have one there. One there. As you can see, they are a little bit tatty, but, you know, I mean, I actually think that looks quite nice. So, and I'm not just saying that because it's turned out a bit tatty, although handy that I do like that look. And it has turned out tatty. So again, lots of glue here. And this is where I say, you know, you may want to have some slightly thicker paper for this gluing down. If you've got very flimsy paper, it just might not be the best for actually, you know, gluing down. You know, when it's very flimsy paper, you often can see the glue through it. You know, it often kind of like doesn't lay that flat. So again, just kind of like play around. But this would be ideal for when you've got like the thicker fly sheets and things like that inside books. You know, that's where this type of project is brilliant for using up those types of things. So there we go, spread our glue out. Again, just mop that out. Okay, right, and then what we're going to do, we're just going to take a couple of these. Now, am I going to manage to do, I mean, they're a little bit smaller, but I think that's okay. So what I might do is have one of these like that, just folding it down to roughly where I need to cut that. So we'll just cut that down here. Like that. Oops. And like this. Okie dokie. And then I've got some vintage documents, so I might incorporate that as well. So in fact, I could probably just actually use a little bit of the plainish edge as well. So yeah, okay. Pop that there. Just cut that down. Okie dokie. Right, so put those to one side. There we go. And that's our couple of pages. So then what we do is put those into here. Now, what you can do then, whoops, get your stapler. Now, you can just kind of fold this in a little bit, just carefully creasing rather than actually squishing down and folding. And then just put your stapler over. Now, my stapler is one of those clever staplers, which, oh, look, now I can't. Oh, it's not that clever. I can't even get it over. There we go. I was squishing it down by accident. Right. My one's one of those clever staplers that I can pull out like the arm to be able to do this without doing this. So I'll do this one like this just to show you, for if you don't have a fancy stapler, that's how I've done these before I had my stapler. Okay, and then just kind of spread it back down with your glue spreader. And there you go. I mean, you've done like no damage to that at all. So that's your little booklet. And then what you can do is just take your scissors, snip the edge open like that. And you've got a little pocket then on the edge. Now, again, whether this is popped in, glued down or paper clipped in, you could open the back edge as well. Now, if I was gluing this onto a page, I probably wouldn't, if I'm truthful. But if I was having it as a clipped-in piece, I probably would. So what you might like to do is just leave the back piece, you know, and then decide later. It's, you know, completely up to you. But aren't they just so super gorgeous? And then, of course, if you wanted to, you could put a thumb hole in here. You know, you could put ribbon around this. You could put, you know, baker's twine around it to tie it up. You could just paper clip it closed. You know, once that's squished into a journal, it will stay closed on its own anyway. It's only kind of wanting to pop open because we've just made it. But you've got lots of journaling space in there, which is great. And of course, you've got this whole area that you can just tuck a few more bits into. So a lot of journaling space in this very, you know, very small kind of unassuming piece, really. So that's all there is to those. So I will run you through one more, just, you know, so that we're kind of really clear on how to do them. So you're going to take your envelope. You're going to take your flap and glue the flap down. So like this. I don't know about you guys, but I do quite like having a tutorial a second time through because, you know, sometimes I'm busy watching the first time and don't really kind of like take in all the steps and pay too much attention to remember how to do it. So you've folded your flap down like that, and then you're just going to open this out, fold this down like that. Remember, we talked about kind of, you know, you may prefer to have your flap on the outside, but play around. You know, I just think sometimes it wants to kind of crease up a little bit if it's on the inside, but you know, play around and see what you think. So then we're going to cover the outside. Let me just grab another piece of paper in. I will do a different paper so as we're not kind of doing all the same thing. Got some of my sewing papers here, so yeah, maybe do one of those. Okie dokie. So yep. Okay. So again, I mean, I just like to sort of fold this against the envelope itself, and that's where I judge kind of how big this needs to be. For me, that works much better than trying to measure. If you like measuring and you get on better with measuring, then by all means, you know, feel free, go ahead and measure. I'm just not great at them, yeah, being very accurate with my measurements. So there we go, like that. Just fold that in half, and that just you know, luckily folding in half happens to be the right size for the envelope. So like that, and we'll just glue this down here. Okie dokie. And again, I mean, I'm using full sheets of paper here, you know, to take, oops, I only did it upside down. That wouldn't have been very good. To take my pattern paper from, but obviously you could use scraps. I mean, I've grabbed a bunch of papers, you know, from not fresh off the printer, but, you know, freshly printed, if not freshly printed, but yeah, printed without having been cut into. But you could definitely use scraps, because I mean, we're not using a really big piece of paper there, are we? You know, you could collage on the front if you wanted to. I just think this looks quite nice and keeps it nice and simple for making them. Okie dokie. Pop this on down. Like that. Okay, put my glue out. Okay, then we're going to just open it back out. This is where we obviously glue our plain pieces. So I'm just going to take this like that. And then what I'm going to do is chop off some of this at the bottom. Again, I mean, look at how tatty that one is. I don't mind that. You know, so you really can get away with, yeah, using up stuff. I mean, if that bothered you, you could always use it and then glue something over this little kind of tatty edge, to be honest. I'm just going to go in slightly more. You know, so I was going to say, don't bin things if you think, oh, you know, where would I use that? Because, you know, the chances are you probably could use it. Now, I'm not trying to encourage the whole not binning things, because my goodness, I'm sure you don't want a room looking like mine, but hey, who am I kidding? Probably most of us have a room looking like mine, don't we? Yeah, I reckon. Okay. There we go. Right. So we pop that down there. Like that. Okay, just glue spread. So here, where obviously I've got that big tatty area, I could just glue like a, you know, I don't know, just anything on there, butterfly, you know, anything at all. To cover that up, I could put some lace down and then we'd just have a hole here. It really doesn't matter, to be honest. There we go. Like that. Okay. Spread my glue. There we go. Looking good. And then we just take obviously some of that lined paper again. Just fold that in. I've actually still got the other leftover, haven't I, that we used, but I forgot about that. So yeah, I'll just take that up there. Okay, right, let's just chop this bottom off. Down there, that bit there, oh my goodness. Like that. Okay. So there are pages, maybe even just use both of these here as the pages, to be honest. Like that. Okay, get my stapler now. I can never remember how I do this. Always a nightmare when you can't remember. Oh, there we go. Oh, right, okay. So got that stapler from Amazon. I have shown it before. I'm not obviously on commission for it or anything like that, but hey, it's quite a nifty stapler. Now I can't remember what it was called, and I can't even see a brand name on it or anything. I mean, it might say there Eagle, maybe. Swing arm stapler. So yeah, if you're looking for a, you know, swing arm stapler, that's what it's called. It's quite nifty. It's brilliant for things like this, because obviously now I can get in where I couldn't before, if you see what I mean. So yeah, it's quite nifty. I just always forget how to use it, but it's not very difficult. I don't know why I forget. There we go. So that's our little booklet. And again, just open your pocket like that. Like that. Again, I'm going to leave the back one closed just in case I was likely to, you know, glue this into a journal. So I can always kind of do it at the end. So that's all there is to them. So very, very, very simple. So we're just going to assembly line these, and, you know, for anyone who hasn't watched a matchmaking before, what I mean by that, we're just going to kind of like, you know, assembly line, factory style do these. So I'm going to do all the same stages at the same time. So I'm going to glue my flaps down of my envelopes, then do all the folding of the envelopes, and then do all my covering of the envelopes, you know. So all the same stages are all done sort of at the same stage, and we will just relax and have a nice time, have a catch up, and yeah, hopefully just have a really super productive kind of 45 minutes or so. So I hope that everybody's week has started out well. For those people who watch my channel, you'll know that I generally film these on a Monday to go up for you guys on the Tuesday. So yep, my week's only just started. Wow, I have had such a busy week, so I've got loads to chat about this week. So yeah, very exciting. My life is very boring normally, and I have nothing really to chat about other than what I've watched on TV. Hey, I do have things that I've watched on TV as well that I will mention. But right, what have I been up to? So done loads of different things. So what have I done? Last week I went and met up with, you know, my lovely friend Gary, who sadly passed away last year. Met up with his mum and my friend from the gym, so Gary's best friend. We went and it was very sad because they were clearing out the last of Gary's pieces from his flat that he had, because the sale was completing at the end of last week. So I met them there, you know, because that was just the meeting point. And then we went to Gary's like memorial. It's not a grave, but like memorial. It's not a headstone, but, you know, memorial plaque thing. And Anita, that's Gary's mum, she put a wreath down, like a holly wreath, you know, Christmas wreath down on that. So that was really, really nice. And then we went for a coffee. So it was lovely to see her. She is such a lovely woman. I think she's 86, but my goodness, she's so like ahead of her time. She's very kind of like modern 86-year-old. And yeah, she's very kind of like, you know, she's always immaculately turned out and put together. She always has her nails painted and looks very, you know, yeah, just immaculate. She's probably quite feisty. I mean, I haven't seen her in action, but I would imagine no one would mess with her. And yeah, she's just a very strong, like, independent woman. So yeah, and she tells us lots of stories of, you know, like when Gary was growing up and things. And, you know, I mean, that was obviously a long time ago, and she was so yeah, just so ahead of her time, I just felt. So yeah, she'd kind of like take her boys on holiday, like driving, you know, but driving miles and miles, you know, like 100 miles, like, you know, for a holiday, just her and her boys, because her husband was maybe, you know, working and couldn't obviously go. I mean, wow, I would kind of like not even, well, I have done that now, but I have to say that took quite a lot of courage to actually get to that point. So, I mean, she was doing this years and years and years ago. I mean, I think Gary must have been born in like 1966, I think. So, yeah, she was like way ahead of her time. You know, some women didn't even have driving licenses kind of back then, did they? And, you know, things like that. So, yeah, amazing lady. Anyway, so that was really nice to see her, and very exciting. She has a man friend now. So Gary's friend and I were kind of joking and calling him her boyfriend. I mean, I guess he kind of is really, but yeah, we had to kind of like upgrade and call him her man friend. But very, very, very sweet. And they're spending like Christmas Day, not really together, like not kind of on their own together, but at sort of like a local, I'm not sure what place it is, but that like a Help the Aged kind of place where they can go for a Christmas dinner. So yeah, they're going to that on Christmas Day, and she had signed up for it. And then she told him when he said, what are you doing for Christmas? And she said, and then he phoned her and he said, oh, I'm also booked in for that now. So, I mean, how sweet is that? So, yeah, very, very, very cute. And yes, there's hope for us all. Hope for us all that she's got a boyfriend and is, you know, living the dream now. I'm very happy. So, yep, really, really cute. And apparently, because he still drives, she doesn't drive anymore. But he does still drive, and apparently they sometimes go like down, she lives right on the coast, but they sometimes then drive down to the actual sea, which is kind of like probably, you know, down the end of her road. But I mean, obviously they're, you know, what would you call it? Their ability to kind of walk that far is kind of like now not what it was. So they drive down, and they sometimes then have an ice cream just in his car, just at the beach. I mean, how cute is that? I just thought that was lovely. So yeah, anyway, very, very, very sweet. So yeah, that was really, really nice. Then I think I may have talked about this last week. So my son and I had kind of like planned to be decorating and things, and yeah, so we started decorating. I might have already started decorating when we spoke last week, when I did my mass making last week. I can't remember, I'm afraid. Right, I'm just having a quick look to see what papers I'm going to use, because I'll just bring a few of the papers now, and then, oh yeah. Yes, I can't remember. I do apologise whether I'd already started painting or not. But anyway, so finished painting the bedroom. It looks really, really pretty. It's just a very pale pink colour, and oh, it just looks absolutely gorgeous. So yeah, really, really chuffed with how it's turned out. And then I managed to get a desk on, did I get it on Facebook Marketplace? Yeah, probably. I think it was Facebook Marketplace. Desk / dressing table. I'm going to be using it as a desk, because this is kind of like what's effectively like my spare room now. Was my son's bedroom, but obviously he's moved out now, so yeah, it's his bedroom. And I mean, even when he was here, he didn't really spend much time here, so you know, and it had been decorated for a very, very, very long time, to be honest. So and it was then getting very messy, because that's where obviously I keep all my stock for, you know, my shabbydabbydoodah.co.uk for my shop. So it was kind of turning into a bit of a ginormous mess, and yeah, just not looking the best, to be honest. So anyway, got a different desk to put in there, and yeah, managed to buy it on Facebook Marketplace for £15, would you believe? What a bargain. So yeah, thrilled to bits with that. Now it needs obviously upcycling, so I'm planning on doing that. I feel a bit nervous for some reason. I've upcycled like loads of furniture, and I don't know why this is making me feel nervous, but maybe I'm just out of practice now, I'm not sure. But yeah, I feel kind of nervous about doing it, and it's annoying, because it's like, you know, I'm putting off doing it now, which ridiculous. I've bought the paint stripper. It is just varnish that it's covered at the moment, but the lady who I bought it from, she kind of does it, I mean, she does do it professionally, but she works full-time and does it kind of in her spare time. But she gets commissions now, she said, and she said to me, you know, I would recommend using a paint stripper, paint and varnish stripper, rather than just kind of like sanding it down. So I thought, well, I'll take her advice, because obviously she's, you know, she's a professional at doing this. So I did buy some paint stripper, haven't done it yet. I may film it. So let me know if you think that you would like to see that video. I mean, I can't guarantee it would be great, because obviously it would be a different style of video for me. And yeah, I mean, just let me know what you think, whether you would be interested in seeing that or not, really. So yeah, anyway, I'm putting off doing it for some reason, and that's really annoying. I must kind of crack on with that. But anyway, I digress. So got that ready to do. And then so my son, my other son, he said to me, and he was obviously helping me, you know, do it all. He said to me, oh, I think we should move. So we had like a dressing table like downstairs. Not a dressing table, a like wardrobe, and it's in the style of like a French armoire. And that was in like our living room. And it's been in there since we moved house. It came from our old house. So, you know, 17 years it's been in that room. So my son said, oh, Mum, that's a monstrosity in there. It looks awful. You know, we should move that upstairs into the bedroom. And in that bedroom, obviously, we had a different wardrobe. So he said, you know, let's swap those. But instead of putting that wardrobe into the living room, you know, let's just put it into the garage. So, you know, I was like, you know, that's really a lot of work. Anyway, of course, I let him talk me into it. So, yeah, that was the plan. We were going to move the wardrobe from the bedroom down into the garage as like a storage kind of wardrobe. I mean, our garage was such a mess because, you know, like every time that we move out of our house, we chuck all of our stuff in the garage. And as you can imagine, some of it, you know, doesn't make it back upstairs. And so we had like last year's stuff in there. We had this year's stuff in there, you know, all sorts of stuff. I mean, literally you couldn't quite get into the garage at all. So, yeah, big mess. And then in the unit in the, you know, living room, yep, I'm ashamed to say that was like an overflow for books that I buy for my work. Well, I clearly do not need to buy any more books, because there must have been, I didn't count them, but maybe like 50 books in there. I mean, a lot of books. And I'm talking like antique, really old, big, very heavy books. So you can imagine the, you know, well, the job that was clearing that out. And we also kept all of our board games in there. So, you know, we had board games, we had, I'm not going to use that one, I'm going to use this one. We had board games, and we had the books all in there. So, oh my goodness, what a huge job that was. So on Friday, my son had said to me, oh, Mum, if you empty that out, you know, empty that wardrobe out, and then, yeah, empty that wardrobe out, and then, you know, over the weekend, we'll carry the other wardrobe downstairs and, you know, swap them round. So, I mean, that sounds, you know, that sounds simple enough, doesn't it? Wow. So I emptied it out on Friday during the day. My daughter came home from school and she was just like horrified. Now, bearing in mind, my daughter's like the messiest person in the house, although I'm sure that they would kind of say, are you sure, Mum? Are you sure it's not you? Probably is me. Yeah. If it's not me, she's the messiest person. Different kind of mess, you know, but yeah, things like, you know, she'll come in from school, just leave her school stuff downstairs, and you keep saying, oh, can you take your stuff back up, please, you know, and it just never gets taken up, things like that. Whereas I'm not like that, but of course my mess is spreading everywhere throughout the whole house. So yeah, she came in from school, bearing in mind how messy she is, and she was like, oh my goodness, Mum, not liking this. That was her reaction. So that's how bad it was. That she, the messiest girl, didn't think that the mess was, you know, she wasn't enjoying that mess. I mean, that's got to be pretty bad, hasn't it? For her to be like, whoa, I'm not loving this. So, yeah, pretty bad. Pretty bad. Anyway, the funniest thing was, so I'm sat in my bedroom and, you know, this is at night time now. And my son, who cannot wait, you know, he's just like me, unfortunately, can't wait for things, you know. So he got it in his mind that we were moving the furniture around and he was just wanting to crack on with it. So I'm sat in my room in the evening about, you know, 7:30, and I suddenly see him, well, hear him banging around, you know, and see him, and he's then struggling coming out of the bedroom with this wardrobe, like kind of like slanted on its side kind of thing, trying to get it out of the room. So I was like, oh my goodness. So I said, I think you need my help, don't you? So, you know, I get up to go and help. Now, I'm just putting all these bits here ready for gluing in. So yeah, so I get up to go and help, and then that's when I notice my daughter's also in on the act. So she's also there helping, you know, helping with the wardrobe. So it comes to the point where the wardrobe is then wedged between the banisters and the, well, first of all, the door architrave. So we've damaged all of that. So that needs kind of like sanding down a bit and glossing over again. And then we managed to move it from there, and it then gets wedged between like the ceiling, or not the ceiling, sorry, the bit of wall above the door architrave, you know, and the banisters, and it's literally wedged. No one's going anywhere. So at this point, we are all laughing our heads off. You know, when things just go into hysteria, I don't know about you guys, but when I'm kind of like not really knowing how to do something, I often go into just fits of laughter. So we're now stood there laughing our heads off. So my son is like trapped in between the wardrobe and the banisters. My daughter's trapped in the bedroom because she's kind of trying to push it, and I'm then trapped, obviously. I was free, but trapped, not being able to get the other side of the wardrobe, if you see what I mean. So we were laughing, and I said, oh my goodness. I said, I can picture the headline, you know, family starves to death because they're trapped by a wardrobe. And then my daughter laughed. She said, oh, well, I'll be okay, Mum. She said, because as I'm starving to death, she said, I'll have lost loads of weight. She said, and eventually I'll be so skinny I can just like squish through the, you know, the gap in the door. So she was obviously laughing, finding it all very, very funny. And then the only person who was freely running around, and I use the word person very loosely, the term person, was Bo. And she was there running underneath the wardrobe, like back and forth, you know, just obviously thinking, what's wrong with this bunch of idiots? You know, what are they doing? So, yeah, so we're all laughing. Very, very funny. And then I said to my son, right, that's it. The wardrobe's not coming out, is it? We need to take it back into the room and we need to think this through. So we took it back into the room, you know, got it back in there. And then we saying, oh, how are we going to get it out? And it had feet on it. So it was just an IKEA kind of wardrobe, you know. So I said, well, unless we could chop the feet off, you know, maybe we could chop the feet off and it will then come through. So now I'm just wondering if this blue would go with this. I think it will. That's okay, isn't it? So yeah, I said, what about if we chop the feet off? So now I cannot profess to have used a saw before. No, I haven't. So, you know, I didn't obviously fancy my chances at doing that job. So I said to my son, you know, what do you think? I said, you know, how do you think your sawing skills would be? So he was like, yeah, they'd be okay, you know, oh, I'm sure it'd be fine. So, okay, well, hey, let's chop the feet off. So I run off and get the saw, we come back up, you know, and he chops the feet off. To be fair, he made quite a good job of it. I was quite pleasantly surprised and thought, well, you know, that's okay. So the wardrobe, it still looks okay, to be honest, and it's just going to be in the garage, you know, for storage anyway. It's quite old and, you know, it's fine. So that was that. And then, you know, we then tip it up to, or yeah, tip it up like slanted kind of thing to be able to drag it out of the room now. Well, again, the same thing happens in that it gets wedged again. Sorry, just looking to see if I've got some blue again. So there we go. It gets wedged again in exactly the same place because obviously the width of the wardrobe, it's still the same, isn't it? So we were like, oh my goodness, we've now chopped the feet off the wardrobe and it's still not coming through. You know, oh my gosh. So we're, you know, struggling to get this wardrobe out. And then in the end, we're like tipping it and tipping it and tipping it. And what happens in the end is it's actually stood upright. So it stood upright exactly as it should be. And we could just walk it straight through the door. So we had been struggling with it on its side, trying to drag it through, couldn't get it through. And then stood upright, it just came straight through. So we get it halfway through the door, and then my son suddenly laughs and he said, do you know what the worst thing is? I reckon it would have gone under the door upright anyway without cutting the feet off. Oh my goodness, we were laughing. So my daughter, who's like still sort of in the bedroom, like behind the wardrobe, I said to her, oh, grab one of those feet off the floor. So she grabs one of the feet off the floor, and the wardrobe is currently stood underneath the door frame. We stood that foot off that we'd chopped off, and do you know what? It was probably that far beneath the door frame. So we chopped the 4 feet off of the wardrobe, and actually, if we'd have just tried to drag it out standing upright, it wouldn't have even needed the feet chopping off at all. It would have just come straight through. Right, I'm going to sort of stop there because I'm going to obviously run out of time soon because I'm just so busy chatting. So let's just fold a few of the pages that are going to go into these. So, yeah, can you actually believe it? It would have gone through without chopping the feet off. What a bunch of idiots. Just laughed so much. Honestly, I just couldn't believe it. So I phoned my mum and dad. So my dad is very, very capable, you know, kind of like, yeah, old-fashioned man. You know, those old-fashioned men who can do like everything going, you know, not like kind of today's men. That's a bit of a sweeping statement, so I do apologise. I'm not trying to offend anybody. Oh, this is, oh, I don't know what this is. Let's just, oh, it's got writing on it. Let's just put that to one side and we, oh, so's that. Can you believe it? I've chosen the piece with writing. Right, let's take another piece. Yeah. So, yeah, my dad, who's, you know, one of those kind of men who can do everything. So I phoned my mum and I'm like, FaceTiming her and laughing and telling her the story, and my dad was obviously in the room, and I said, is dad there? Is he listening? So she was like, yes. I said, is he laughing? She said, no. I can just picture his face, you know, kind of like not laughing, but instead just thinking, oh my goodness, what a bunch of wallies. You know, they've chopped the feet off, because he would never ever do something like that, you know. But yeah, we're obviously quite inexperienced furniture movers. Like, you know, I mean, obviously, we've been here a long time, so it's years since we've actually moved things around. But also, that's the first time that we've kind of like been doing things without a sort of, you know, man around. Now, that's really insulting because my son is now 18. But, you know what I mean? Like, you know, with kind of a man who's perhaps done things like that a few times and stuff. So, yeah. Oh my gosh, it was so funny. We just laughed and laughed and laughed. So that was our, start to our weekend. Then the saga continues. So we managed to get it obviously out of the room, walking it upright, you know, not surprisingly. And then we couldn't then get it down the stairs. So my son's friend had come round by this point, so we drag him into this whole debacle, saying, you know, oh, would you be able to help, like, you know, dragging this downstairs? And they get wedged then on the stairs halfway down, and it's like, oh my goodness, that wardrobe is, well, a nightmare. So in the end, you know, they're now like scraping the wallpaper, you know, I mean, obviously not their fault. I'm not meaning, oh, they were scraping the wallpaper, you know, kind of that just couldn't really be helped. But you know, kind of in the end, I just thought, oh my goodness, we're going to have done such a lot of damage that really there's, you know, there'll be nothing left. There's no point doing this. So in the end, I just said, oh, that's it. I said, just bring the wardrobe back upstairs. I said, we're going to have to dismantle it and then put it back together, I think, when it's downstairs, because it's, you know, it's not coming. So yeah, that's what we had to do in the end, was dismantle it and then take it obviously in, you know, in bits and rebuild it on the Saturday. Now I have to say my son did that job. He dismantled it and he put it back together in like hardly any time, did a wonderful job. So yeah, thank you so much. And not that he ever watches my videos, but hey, I will just shout out a thank you to him because he did a wonderful job. But the joke of it is, I mean, actually taking that apart and putting it back together took way less time than the whole messing about with it in the first place and, you know, sawing the legs off and all of that. So we should have just done that in the beginning, to be honest. But anyway, hindsight's a wonderful thing, isn't it? So the wardrobe, or the French armoire type piece, you know, that we were then putting up there, obviously I just, was dreading doing that. And I thought, that's never going to go up there because that was proper furniture, not like flat pack. But the only good thing is that came in 2 halves. So, of course, they were much shorter in the first place. I mean, well, the bottom half is very, very short. So, yeah, thank the Lord we were able to get them up, you know, very easily. And I have to say, I was still then dreading seeing it in the bedroom because I just thought, oh, my goodness, imagine if I hate it, you know, after all this mucking about. Well, I have to say, it looked so good and probably does look better than it had looked in the living room. Bearing in mind, it had been in there for 17 years. Yep. So I said to my son, genius idea of yours. Thank you so much for suggesting that because I wouldn't have moved that up. And wow, it actually looks way better up here. So yeah, he was feeling really kind of like pleased with himself at that point. So yeah, that was brilliant. So that was our whole weekend was taken up with all of that, and of course the cleaning off the garage and things to be able to put the, you know, the actual wardrobe that we chopped the legs off to put that into the garage and stuff. So yeah, the whole weekend was taken up just doing all of those kinds of jobs and chores. I then loaded the car up to go to the car, not the car boot sale, to go to the dump yesterday with a lot of rubbish that we'd taken out from the garage. And I loaded the car up, and then we went to go to the dump, and you have to book now to go to our dump, which is, you know, pretty annoying, I have to say. But yeah, I thought, well, I'll just quickly go on and book a slot, you know. Oh my goodness, having loaded the car up, then found the dump was closed. So the weather has been absolutely dreadful this weekend. It's been like a windstorm kind of thing. So, yeah, it was very windy, and subsequently the dump was closed. Wow. Couldn't believe it. So now I've got all the stuff ready to go to the dump, all just floating around in the car. So I'm hoping that I'll get time to go later today. I'll have to try and make time, to be honest, because it's the type of thing that, you know, like otherwise things will end up kind of like spilling out of the boxes that they're in and things, and then before I know it, it will turn into like a much bigger job than it was when the stuff all first went in there. So yeah, fingers crossed it's going to be, you know, I'm going to get time to do it later. So yeah, that was kind of our whole weekend was taken up with all of that, really. So, but hey, really good job done. So you know, very, very pleased now with, you know, with the move of the furniture. So like I say, just got a few more things left to do. So I'm still debating what colour to do the desk / dressing table. You know, if I'm going to paint it, or, and I haven't ever done this, but I did wonder about just having it wooden, maybe waxing it or something. The only thing is, until I take the like varnish off, I'm not too sure what colour it's going to be. It's currently quite a yellowish wood, you know, like this kind of sort of yellow, which obviously doesn't really go in the room. So there's no point just staining it if it's going to look like that. But I wonder whether it could, you know, when the varnish comes off, it might actually go to a much paler wood. I'm not sure. Have to see. But yeah, so anyway, that was that. So quite excited to get all of that done. The other thing is, you can't find anything anymore. You know, like all the shops have obviously gone bust and closed down. So now we're left with very few places to actually be able to go and get things. So, you know, just like I wanted to put some cushions on the bed. No, couldn't find any cushions that would like look really good, and I don't know, all of those kinds of things. So yeah, all a bit disappointing really, since everywhere's kind of closed down. You know, it's hard to actually source anything. So yeah, it's kind of like, in a bit of a state of limbo now while I'm waiting for things. But anyway, it's exciting, isn't it, when you decorate somewhere? And I don't know about you guys, but when I decorate, I keep finding myself going into that room looking, kind of thinking, oh, look at our room, doesn't it look nice? So I'm a bit like that with the living room now that unit's been moved out of there as well. So yeah, it's weird. I mean, it definitely looks a lot better, which I'm like, oh my goodness, we had that in there for 14 years. What on earth was going on? Sorry, not 14 years, 17 years. Anyway, so other news. So weather related this is. So like I said, my mum and dad, no, I haven't said that. Sorry. Like I said, it's been really windy. Yeah, it's been really windy. So my mum and dad have gone on a cruise, and they've gone with my older sister and her husband, and they're doing like a cruise to the Christmas markets, like around like Germany, and I'm not sure where else, but anyway, they've gone to do those, and they got on the boat on Saturday. Now, Saturday was when the storm was kind of like brewing and really getting started. Saturday night, terrible. The whole of yesterday, terrible, and absolutely freezing. It was so bitterly cold. Even though it said it was 8.5 degrees, it was really cold. It felt more like -8. So anyway, they got on the boat on Saturday, and when I got up yesterday morning, I thought, oh gosh, I'd hate to be, you know, on a cruise right now, like, because honestly, all our, you know, garden had like had everything had blown around there. I saw it like pick up a chair in the garden and like, you know, throw it across the garden kind of with the wind. So yeah, really, really windy. Anyway, turns out they haven't even set sail yet. I assume they have set sail now this morning. But yesterday they still hadn't set sail because they couldn't sail because it was so bad. So they picked up the boat in a place called Southampton, which is probably, I don't really know how many miles that would be from me, but it's perhaps a, I don't know, 40-minute drive, something like that. So they pick up the boat from there, and they're still there, unless they have sailed this morning, but I haven't heard from them, like I say, just yet. So yesterday, kind of, there were a few amusing posts, obviously, like coming through on our little family group, you know, from them kind of saying that they was still there. I think they got off the boat and they went into the town where they had a Christmas market, and obviously, yeah, they were kind of joking about that and saying, oh, you know, didn't quite expect to be just, you know, going around the Southampton Christmas market. But anyway, they were making the best of it and, you know, laughing. But yeah, I mean, that's a bit gutting, isn't it, to be honest? But I mean, they're still on the boat, and they're still obviously, you know, having their nice food and getting dressed up and, you know, all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, very disappointing, to be honest. But I mean, you know, it can't be helped, can it? I mean, if the weather's atrocious, then I mean, you don't want to be sailing in unsafe conditions, do you? So, you know, it's better to be safe than sorry, I guess. But yeah, a bit disappointing nonetheless. There we go. Right, let's just quickly mop that out. Oh, so what have I been watching on TV? Well, obviously I have been really, really busy. So yeah, I unfortunately didn't really get much time to do any work last, you know, the weekend at all. So I just did a bit of work last night, but yeah, on the whole weekend was kind of obviously doing the room. Just going to do one or two quite different looking ones, otherwise they're all looking a bit the same. So, and the papers that I've used, sorry, this was the Pale Damask and the Totally Dotty paper. Let's do, that's the Totally Dotty as well. This is my ladies collection papers, which again, I'm loving these, just like the Capital collection papers. I've used these a lot since putting them in my shop. So yeah, really loving these. Yes, what have I been watching? So I have been watching I watched something the other day and now I can't think what that was. Yeah, total blank there, can't remember what that was. But what have I been watching since Saturday night, I think. So yeah, no, must have been since Thursday or Friday night, actually. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, been watching something called Black Doves. It's on Netflix. It's with Keira Knightley. Really like her as an actress. She's very good. Oh, it's getting really gripping. I've watched quite a few of them. Couldn't tell you where I am now. Yeah, I'm not sure how far in I am, but I don't know, 4 or 5 episodes maybe. I don't know how many episodes there are altogether, but it's really good. Really good. So I definitely recommend that. I'm pretty sure it was #1 in the top 10, you know. So chances are many of you are probably watching it or have watched it already. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. Let me know. What do you think? You know, are you enjoying it? Have you just got it in your, you know, I am going to watch that list, or have you started? Are you finished? Yeah. Do you like Keira Knightley? I think she's good. So yeah, been watching that, really enjoying it. Oh, that was the other thing that I had been watching. So last week I mentioned I'd watched The Empress, and yes, I finished watching that on, like, I don't know, Tuesday night or something, and I really enjoyed that. Their costumes just got more and more beautiful as the series went through. Oh my goodness, they were stunning by the end. Really loved them. Now, I don't know whether there's going to be a 3rd series, to be honest, because it finished quite sad, I thought. I don't want to give it away for if you haven't watched it, but yeah, it finished quite sort of sad, and I thought, oh no, you know, yeah, sad. I don't know whether there would be another series, because there might not be much that they can do now with the series. That being said, it was about the Empress and not the Emperor. So I don't know. I don't know whether, you know, whether they would do another series of that. But if they do, I'll watch it, because I've really enjoyed watching it. And yeah, really enjoyed the beautiful costumes and all of that kind of stuff as well. So if you haven't watched that, I would definitely recommend that one as well. Very different, obviously, to Black Doves, but really good. I did really enjoy it. Right. Okay. So I'm taking a long time making these, aren't I? They're not really coming together like loads of them, which is a bit of a shame. Feeling a bit like, oh no, I haven't made that many. Love it when we make tons of stuff. Oh well. Right. Okay. So I might have to leave it there and decorate one up, because otherwise I'm feeling like we're not really going to have any time to decorate. So let's put that to one side. Quickly staple my pages into the ones that I've put together so far. Just want to say a massive thank you to everybody who purchased, you know, anything during the Black Friday, or anyone who's purchased, well, anything at all, but anyone who's purchased my Christmas kit or anything, like from my launch video. I really hope you're loving using that. I'm kind of, yeah, unfortunately halfway through my project, and now of course I haven't worked on it for the last few days, so yeah, it's still sat there, which is kind of time dependent, you know, because it's Christmas, but you know that I should really try and get it finished before Christmas, but I might not. So yeah, I really hope that you're loving using it. I'm absolutely loving it in the project that I'm using it for. So yeah, let me know below, are you enjoying using it? I really hope that you are. And thank you to anybody who's placed an order on my physical shop as well. So I did update a few items and put a few more items in there. I did put, there were a couple of folios and there was a journal. I'm not sure, but I've got a feeling that the journal is still in there. Yeah, I've got a feeling that it is, but I'm not sure. Again, I mean, I haven't actually even filmed the flip through. Oh gosh, look, that's not very good stapling there, but still, I'm sure that's fine. Yeah, I haven't even done the flip through yet of the journal, so I do apologise for that. But of course I will do. But yeah, I mean, it is on there. So I mean, if you were looking for a journal and kind of fancied having a look, you know, then there's quite a few pictures, so hopefully you can kind of like get an idea whether you like it or not. And obviously there will be a flip through coming. And then, yeah, I've got a lot of other things that I need to put in. I'd had a couple of messages with people wanting things like kits and things like that. They were wanting to purchase for like Christmas gifts. And I did say that I would try and get them in there. So I might have a couple more of the big kits going in at some point as well this week. So we'll try and, yeah, I'll try and get some stuff in there, you know, soonish. Well, within the next couple of days. Right, okay, so we've done 5 complete ones. We've got 1, 2, 3 that are kind of ready assembled, just need glue in. And then 1, 2 more there. So 5, how many? 3, yeah, 10 altogether. So right, okay, let's decorate one of these up. So I'm just going to grab some bits. Hold on. Right, I've grabbed some stuff now to decorate with. So I'm not sure which one I'm going to go for. I have got a sewing topper, which we could do. Yeah, we could do the sewing one. That's rather pretty, isn't it? What else have I got here? That's not great on there. That's quite cute. I snipped that corner off by accident. What an idiot. Yeah, I'd cut it all out neatly, and then I think it was like kind of picked it up with something else that I was snipping through and ended up cutting the corner off of it. So that's annoying, isn't it? I wish I hadn't done that. That's quite pretty on there, isn't it? That's from my hydrangea pieces, but yeah, it looks pretty on there, doesn't it? Oh, that's quite lovely on there. Might have to do that actually. So this is from my Avery toppers, and that's the lovely ladies background papers. So I would never have thought to put those together, but my goodness, doesn't that look gorgeous? Very, very pretty, isn't it? So yeah, let's get my ink. Okie dokie. There we go. Yeah, so I hope that everybody else has had a good week and, you know, done lots of nice things. I'm sure you're all very busy getting ready for Christmas. Oh, I'm failing miserably. I've not started anything yet for Christmas. Yep. Oh, my goodness. My daughter's constantly, sending me things. She looks on her phone and then she texts it to me. And I said to her, there's no point doing that. I said, like, let's actually sit down together like the old-fashioned way and look at them. I said, I'm not going to click on those links, like individually looking at things. So she showed me 1 or 2 things that she wants. She really wants like a vanity mirror, like, you know, with lights around it. And it's also got like a magnifying type mirror on there as well. And she wants some straighteners. Now she does have some straighteners, but she's got very curly hair. And they're okay, but I don't think they're probably quite man enough for the job for her hair. So she wants some new ones. But yeah, she said to me, oh, you know, I realised that obviously I might just have to have just those 2 things, you know, because they're quite expensive. So we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, need to kind of crack on really, because well, we're racing towards Christmas, aren't we? And before I know it, it will be here, and I still won't have actually done anything. So it's probably high time I did actually buy some stuff, if I'm truthful. I love just leaving it to the last minute. I kind of always do. I don't know why, but yeah, end up just leaving it to the last minute. I mean, not even intentionally, to be honest, but just kind of goes like that really. So I mean, I quite like that butterfly. It's not really going with anything on there, but it looks quite pretty, doesn't it? Could have one of our bright roses. It's probably a bit weird, but I quite like it, to be honest. Could have a butterfly. This might be too big. Again, I should have printed off some more butterflies, but in a smaller size. Or perhaps I'll go for that. Yeah. Okay. Right, excuse the back of this. So I'm going to glue this down with the hot glue. Now I say this all the time, but honestly, this is not necessary to use hot glue. I'm just using it because, you know, I'm doing a video. I just want to make sure it's glued down very quickly. And it's going through the lace. So yeah, if it's going through the lace, it needs to be, you know, I don't want to have to sit pressing it and pressing it. So there we go. Oh, that's so pretty, isn't it? Now, thinking maybe some sari silk down the edge. Just having a look. Do have one of my stitched clusters there, which actually I've got some other ones, I think. Oh my goodness, my desk is so messy. Yep, definitely going to have to do an X-Pile series again soon, because my goodness, it's shocking. Absolutely shocking what's going on my desk, to be honest. It's coming to the point, you know, like where I can't see anything. It's like, oh my goodness, everything is everywhere. So yes, I shall have to get on and do another X-Pile series. But to be honest, it's not just my desk, it's the whole area, whole room. It's quite good. When I first moved in here, kept it quite neat for a while. And then, of course, it was going to go out the window, wasn't it? I mean, it wasn't going to stay neat. I mean, I would have loved it to stay neat, but, you know, what was the likelihood of that? Very slim. Very slim. I mean, that's quite cute to have on there, isn't it? So, yeah, might just kind of, like, ink that up a bit. Thinking just a cute little kind of accessory over there, so just pop that down. Very nice. Okay, like that. Just adds a little extra something. Okay, and then yeah, I think we'll have the sari silk running down the edge because I love that look. Now, I was just wondering whether we want to have like a little tie up at the side or not. We could do, couldn't we? Just pop this on, so just push it on like that. Okay, and then wonder if I could even use this. Oh no, it's got a knot in it, look. Otherwise I thought, oh, we could have just had it with two different colours, which now would I be able to tie a bow out of those, or are they too small? I'm not sure. Let's give this a try. So right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut this back now. I'd left them, do you remember, because we said, you know, if I was likely to glue them in. But what I've done, I've now opened that up, so what I can do is stick this one into that back pocket. Now the reason being, and I talk about this quite often, I never really decorate the backs of pieces. I don't know why that is, but to me I just feel like the backs are not decorated. Now I don't know why I think that. I think I'm in the minority, because when I watch other people do their projects, they do tend to decorate the backs, I would say. Yeah, I don't know why, but I can't, for some reason my head just is like, no, you don't decorate the backs. Yeah, I don't know. Let me know. Do you decorate the backs of your things or not really? You know, even if they're a pull-out, why do I still not decorate the backs? I have no idea. Oh, that is very cute. I am loving that with the two-tone sari silk, actually. I even quite like that, to be honest. So now I'm thinking, do I even want to ruffle some sari silk down? I mean, it would finish it off, don't get me wrong, it would. But there's part of me that's kind of quite liking it like that, to be honest. Or we could even pop just like a flower there. Oh, let's do that instead, I think. So just pop that down there. Like that. Okay, let me just grab something as a centre. Whoops. Glued my finger onto there. Oh. I've got some little gems here. Oh gosh, they're now under stuff on my desk. Right. Oh my goodness, doesn't that look yummy and gorgeous? Oops, like that. Pop that in there. Oh my goodness, that's so pretty, isn't it? Absolutely gorgeous. Love it, love it, love it. And so you've got, obviously, inside, you've got your journaling spaces front and back. You've got 4 pages there, and you've got, oops, a pocket at the front, and now we've also got a pocket at the back as well. So yeah, you could put something in here and obviously at the back as well. So they're very, very roomy, aren't they? You know, lots and lots of journaling space in there. Really, really, really love them. So yeah. So like I say, I mean, I would probably, I think when I've used these, I just kind of paperclip them in or whatever. But there's no reason why that couldn't be glued in. I mean, although that's got a lot of journaling space, look at how flat that is. It's completely flat. So yeah, you could definitely, you know, glue them in as well. So yeah, I really hope that you like them and hope that you have fun if you make some of these. Do share in the comments below how many you make and, you know, how you get on with them, how you would use them. Would you put them glued in? Would you put them paper clipped in? And yeah, so yeah, really appreciate a big thumbs up for the video. Hope you all have a fantastic week and I will see you guys in the next video. Oh, by the way, thank you so much for everyone who commented on my painted book of backgrounds. I do have one more video with working on that painted book of backgrounds, but we then transform it into something completely different, which I haven't ever seen anybody do before. And then I'll have another video using it. And I really, really hope that you love what we end up doing with that book. So stay kind of on the look for that video because I'm not saying it's a game changer, but it potentially could be. Not for me, because I think I've gone too far down the messy route. But yeah, let me know what you think when you see it. So thanks so much for watching and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks then. Bye.